it's really interesting to see how it's evolved. It started with those platforms. We moved on to, say, MySpace.
MySpace with the music.
A top 8 friends list is so savage.
Can I say my husband was in my top 8?
I feel like my top 8 was just like a revolving door of people that I was just liking at the time or having fights with at the time. It's pretty funny. You got your MySpace, but then we obviously moved on to like your YouTube, your Facebook, your Instagram, and now it's your TikTok as well. And it's so interesting to watch the transition and to watch different types of people become, I guess, influencers on those platforms as well, because I think so many of us aspire to be some kind of influencer in a way, because there's some kind of like celebrity status aligned with being an influencer. And I feel like people almost kind of put them on a pedestal.
Yeah, we do.
And idolize them and want to know what they're doing and, what they're using, what they're buying, like all of this sort of stuff. And I think it's just so wild to watch. So, I mean, what's your opinion on the evolution of social media for yourself?
Look, I honestly only use social media to connect with family and friends. That was initially all that I used it for. Facebook was, all the people that I went on like Kentucky tour with or all the people I went to high school with. It was just reconnecting with them. And then I actually wasn't interested in going onto Instagram, to be honest, back when it first came out. And then people were phasing off Facebook and going onto Insta. And I'm like, shit, I need to keep up with the times.
Yeah.
Now I need to move on to Instagram. And again, I didn't use it for anything. I actually didn't like the whole layout of it.
Yeah.
And then when my business, started to evolve and take off a little bit, I noticed that people were using Instagram and sharing a lot of posts and things that other people were putting on there. And I thought, holy crap, they're sharing other people's things. I need to start putting stuff on there so people can start being influenced by what my messaging. So, I'm very cautious about what images I portray on there. Like you'll see me training in my gym with like in the back of my house with bags and the worst lighting ever. And then you've got the polished, really, extreme kind of best lighting, best makeups, hair slicked back, that sort of thing as well. And there's 2 extremes, and I think we need to be careful that we get a balance of both, because if you're constantly consuming the perfection, you're going to be chasing this unrealistic version of yourself. That's not real. That's not actually real.
Yeah.
Social media, you're a social media manager. Elaborate on what that means. Why are you in that job?
I mean, I love social media and I think we can all sit here and say to some degree we're guilty of putting out content that we have perhaps altered in some way, whether it's editing photos or editing videos or even perhaps creating content that might stretch the truth a little bit. And, it's something that I do in my job, right? It's creating content that essentially sells a product or sells a service. That's what marketing and social media is there for, essentially, when it comes to business purposes. Obviously people use it for social purposes as well, but a lot of people do use it for business purposes. And especially when you kind of create a business online or you kind of get to that influencer status as well, it makes sense to use social media to monetize something, right? If you've got a following, you might as well use it to make money at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But, you also got to think about, like where is the line between showing up and being real, being your authentic self, and where's the line between oversharing?
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's so many cringe factors on social media at the moment. Like there's so many people that I've had to literally unfollow because I'm like, I
do the same.
Watch your content
anymore.
Like,
I do the same.
I think, we're in the day and age of especially Instagram and TikTok where people are just doing whatever it takes to get a like, to get a share, to get, a brand deal, whatever it might be. And some of it I just watch and I go, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like I can't.
Yeah.
And I'm going to use like some examples that I don't necessarily like consuming. And that is like, say, a day in the life of or what's on my plate.
Yes.
Or, like follow me for my morning routine, because I can tell you right now when I watch that sort of content, and don't get me wrong, I know some people watch that content and it really inspires them or they can really align with that sort of content. But I watch that sort of content and I go, how you are looking on camera during your morning routine is the complete opposite to what I look like
Yeah.
when I actually do my real morning routine. When I get out of bed, I've got no eyelashes on. My hair is in a pineapple on top of my head.
Yeah.
I'm probably wearing, my oldest set of track pants. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not wearing some cute Peter Alexander,
Exactly.
sleepwear or something like that. And it's kind of like, I understand that the content that you're trying to create is showcasing somewhat of your authentic life.
Yeah, but
it's not.
I don't see that. I don't see that at all. And what you've gotten up 10 minutes before and you've set the camera up to film yourself
putting your makeup on before you actually
climbing
go to
out
the
of
gym.
bed, and then you do the stretch and the covers go over so nicely. You put your fresh slippers on, and then you pour the lemon water, the apple cider vinegar.
Which tastes like shit anyway. Like, why?
I know. And I would love to know, if anyone out there can comment and let us know, what is it about that sort of content that actually does appeal to you? Because, I think we can both agree that it doesn't appeal to either of us.
And that's why I would never create that kind of content for myself as well. The kind of content that I create is the kind of content that I like to consume as well. And that's the mixture between, fitness-related stuff, stuff on my family or my dogs, beauty-related stuff and that sort of content. Like, a day on the plate or a day in the life of that sort of stuff. I don't enjoy consuming because I'm so aware that chances are it's very much not authentic.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
But some people, because I sometimes read these comments, the comments of people on these sorts of posts, and they get inspiration. They find inspiration in these type of
and they
posts
want to
as
know
well.
where you're getting that particular shoe from, where are those sneakers from, where
Yeah.
is this from, where's that from. One of the ones that I absolutely hate and I cringe a lot at is the and I'm only speaking about this, I speak about this a lot, the thing about mothers where we do the 6 months in, 6 months out, the before and afters. And me and you had this really, interesting conversation about that sort of thing where influencers are putting this on their platforms and they say, this is not a before and after. They put this disclaimer, this is not a before and after. It is a before and after. You were pregnant in one and you're no longer pregnant in the other. So it's literally a before and after of your pregnancy. And they say, I'm not trying to, everyone's journey is different, but you're actually, it's very toxic. It's very much saying, look at my body. You're showcasing that you've been able to bounce back, something that I've spoken about before, bounce back, and other people don't. We're all so completely different. And I think it's very dangerous to send that kind of messaging out into the world, even if you're not genuinely meaning to do it. And I think they actually do it on purpose, come to think of it, because negative comments are still comments. So people that are commenting, not so, positive comments are still giving that person the fuel that they're after.
Yeah.
And it's still creating those, those posts going up in people's feeds. So they're doing it for a reason.
Yeah. And I think I've got a really close friend that always said that perception is truer than a fact. How people perceive you kind of almost means more than the actual truth.
Yeah.
And I think social media is a great place where you can literally make up any kind of image that you want to portray. Yeah, you can make up a brand, you can make up a business, you can even make up a person. And I see it time and time again, especially with people that I've followed for quite a long time that have kind of transitioned themselves or transition their business ideas. And I see what they're kind of putting out there now. And I'm like, that is not real.